86 Volume 9 Review. When we left the cast at the end of 86 Volume 8, Tio was badly injured at the Noctiluca Legion. The group had been fighting escape their freedom. Now Shin and the others must pick up the pieces after the loss of some comrades and an urgent need to chase after their enemy. Let's find out what this book has in store for us. The Noctiluca has made its escape with the holy theocracy of Nuriana Rose, a nation that both the United Kingdom and Federacy are wary of. All the same, they need to defeat the Noctiluca before they get a chance to wipe out humanity, so the 86 strike package quickly set out to defeat it with the help of this nation. However, Shin's group are now a man down since Tio was injured in the last fight. Unfortunately, Tio lost his left hand, effectively forcing him to retire from being a processor since no prosthetic is good enough to bypass the reaction times required to operate the rigid left units. As an 86 who lived with nothing but protecting his comrades and surviving on the battlefield, this is understandably a difficult thing to come to terms with. Tio can continue in the military in another department, but will never again stand alongside Shin and his unit in the battlefield. Although Tio is giving a fair bit of focus in this book, the spotlight is largely placed on Corena, who is sinking into a depression. In Volume 8, she froze up in battle, causing Shana, Shin's vice captain and the team, who are to fight alongside Shin's group and her life. Naturally, Corena thinks it should have been her that died instead, and it probably would have been had she not frozen. But that's not all Corena is dealing with. Now that Tio is no longer there, and is starting to dream what to do after the war, Corena realizes that everyone is leaving her behind. During the series so far, we see many members of the cast struggle with transition for their time spent being used as weapons. They realize there is more to life than the war. This has been a big theme for Shin, who felt like they had nothing to live for, and now dreams of the future with Lina. Many others, 86 have gone through a similar thing and found interest and passed forward to pursue. And instead of fighting to survive, they fight to end the war and lives on afterwards. But Corena isn't there yet. She rather the war continues so she can stay by Shin's side so that she's needed somewhere. This book firmly poses the question of whether it's okay to look to the future and what it means to be stuck at the battlefield as Corena is. It probably goes without saying at this point that Volume 9 of 86 is a busy one with a lot of different plotlines happening simultaneously. For the most part, this works out fine since the themes are similar, and I think they have been satisfied if it had seen Corena struggling with the aftermath of events with Tio. However, this does mean author Asato jumps between characters a lot, and the transition between scenes are handled very well, leading to the book that one of the weakest for me so far. At times, scenes become jumbled as Asato jumps between past and present, especially early on with Tio's segments. But even after that, busy sections of the book begin to get confusing. It often feels as if there must be a better way at the transition between characters that Asato has missed out, and that's a shame since 86 never struggled in the writing department before. Admittedly, Volume 8 was confusing its place during the action but never had this problem in portions outside the battle. Hopefully, now Asato has brought some of the storylines to an end, like with One Day between Lina and Shin. The next installment will have more breathing room. 86 Volume 9 comes to the West thanks to Yen Press and continues to be translated by Roman Lampert. The translation reads well with no problems to note. Volume 10 of the series is scheduled for release in May. It is a prequel story revolving around Shin as a child. They should offer something very different to the recent storylines. Overall, 86 Volume 9 is another interesting entry in a series, and it gives Corena some well-deserved character development. It's certainly one of the weaker books, given the issues with the writing, but that's unlikely to put readers off who have been invested in the series all this time. 7/10.